When I thought about doing a TED Talk for what future education, I really felt it was important to really look at what I felt the future of education could be. And for me, although we've focused on classrooms, we've focused on schools, we've focused on governments, we really need to focus on the teacher. For the teacher, it's about the things that they can do to build the skills that students are going to require. So in this instance, it's about making our classrooms a lot more student-centered rather than teacher-directed. It's time to move away from the old industrial style of education and move into the 21st century. Along with that, it's very important that we look as a teacher as facilitator. Instead of the sage on the stage, we're now the guide on the side. And it's very important that that be the case, because the teacher as dispenser model is a well-known thing that it just doesn't work anymore. When we get down through that, then we have to start structuring our classes in such a way that we deal with inquiry on a regular basis. We don't allow students to be passive learners, sit there and receive the transmitted data. We really force these learners to work through problems for themselves so that they can develop the skills necessary to be successful. And we can't forget about technology. But it's not about technology as itself. It's about enhancing the learning with technology. Technology is an excellent engagement tool, and social media is also an excellent engagement tool. You just have to be very careful about how you use it. But we can't ignore technology. We can't ban technology in classrooms just because it's something we don't understand or it has a possibility of becoming a bad thing. We really need to look at technology from the perspective of teaching students how to use it properly and appropriately. And then we need to start looking at collaboration. And collaboration is huge. But it's really about collaboration outside of our classroom, outside of our school. Collaborating on projects with other schools and other institutions in different places in the world, or even different places in your own city. It takes away the isolated and competitive nature of education that we seem to have a lot of. We also have to get past the silos that we sit in the senior high. It's not as evident in the K-6 realm, but it really starts to become a significant part of what we do when we talk about the 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 grades. We get into the disciplines, we get into our silos, and it's one teacher in one class, and we've got to get past that. It's very important that students learn things as they need them, not math as a separate thing or science as a separate thing, but math and science as things used to create and used to solve problems. Learners have to own the learning. They can't be on the same page the same day. This has implications for standardized testing, but not really if you think about it. All it means is the standardized testing has to be much broader in scope than we've ever considered before. And then we need to look at that inquiry model. We need to look at students making knowledge for themselves, constructing that knowledge through inquiry, rather than absorbing a set of facts that they could pick up a book and read, or if they could pick up an iPad, or they could look on the internet and find, use their phone. Why are we teaching them about facts that they're readily accessible and have at their fingertips? The questions that we ask students really have to come from them themselves. It has to be a student-developed question thing. They have to own that learning. And they're only going to own that learning if they ask the questions. As much as we struggle as teachers to try to develop as many open-ended questions as we can, why don't we ask students to develop them? It has a very interesting implication. Then we have to also look at the fact that we have to have higher order thinking skills going on in these classrooms. They're really important that students learn how to apply higher order thinking skills. And it's very important that they really learn how to do that in an experiential, real world fashion. The more real world we do with these students, the more likely it is that they will be engaged in their learning. When you put it all together, you have an excellent classroom experience not only for the student, but for the teacher. Because as students are engaged, so too shall the teacher be engaged. We can bring education to a new place. We can enter the 22nd century, not where we entered the 21st, struggling to try to develop these skills.